Hello, beautiful people of the internet. How are you doing today? My name is Jackie and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a very special video because in this video I am going to be playing my Scrabble TBR game to pick my December TBR, and this marks the 1-year anniversary of Scrabble TBR. I played my very first game for my December TBR last year, and now it's been 12 whole months since we started. I'm so excited and happy that we've got here. So I want to start off by saying a big thank you to everyone who has watched these videos over the past year, whether you have been here since the first one or today is your first time watching. I am so happy to have you, and thank you so much for your support, your likes, and your nice comments. So if this is your first time watching Scrabble TBR or you just need a little refresher on the rules, it's fairly simple. Every single month I spell 5 words in a game of Scrabble, and those 5 words act as my prompts for the month to decide what books that I read. When I successfully complete a prompt, I will collect the points for that word. When I reach 150 points, then I get to have a free pick in that month's TBR. Same rules as Scrabble apply, so the words that I spell have to be found in the dictionary of my choice, and I cannot use any proper names in the game. I also get 1 star tile that I can use to switch out my letters at any one point throughout the game with no consequences. If I have to swap again, then I have to add an extra prompt to the TBR. I will say that I am planning to introduce some new format changes to the TBR just to up the difficulty a little bit and hopefully make the videos even more fun to watch. I will be implementing those changes the next time that I hit 150 points, just because I think it'll be easier to follow that way. So stick around to see that in hopefully the next couple months. I also just realized I need to update you all on how I did with last month's TBR picks. I read everything on my TBR except for 4 Dead Queens, which was my pick for random draw. To be honest, I don't have any good excuse why I didn't read that one. I honestly had plenty of time to read it, I just didn't feel like it, so I didn't read it. So currently I have 73 points in the game right now. We'll see how I do this month. With that being said, let's dive in to the TBR picks for this special anniversary edition of Scrabble TBR. So the letters that I had left over at the end of last month were X, C, O, and Y. Thank you, by the way, for everyone who gave me a suggestion about words I could spell using an X. Much appreciated, but let's draw 3 more letters and then I will spell my first prompt. A. Next, N, and P. So I'm going to spell one of the words that one of my subscribers suggested, which is onyx. Get rid of that X right away, and for this I will read a book that has a black cover. Alright, the first prompt is onyx. This prompt was suggested to me by one of my subscribers. I asked you all to please give me some prompt ideas that include the letter X, since I had that letter left over at the end of last month. And this prompt was suggested by Heather. Thank you, Heather, and everybody else who commented. I got so many great ideas and I definitely took note of all of them. But for this month's prompt onyx, I am going to be reading a book with a black cover. And for this, I have chosen His and Hers by Alice Feeney. I have heard lots of positive reviews for this book. I previously enjoyed Sometimes I Lie, also by Alice Feeney, so I'm excited to check this one out. And I really wanted to finally make reading his and hers a priority before I read Alice Feeney's latest release, Rock, Paper, Scissors, which again, I've heard so many great things about. Now, his and hers, I'm not entirely sure what the plot of this is, but I know that we are getting the perspectives of Anna and Jack, who used to be married. Anna is a reporter who is assigned to cover the recent murder of a woman in a small English town, and meanwhile her ex-husband Jack is the chief inspector who is assigned to this murder case, and I think he is sort of connected to this woman. It's somebody that he knows. There's a common saying that says there are three sides to every story: his side, her side, and the truth. So basically, this book is going to follow Anna and Jack, the secrets that they may be keeping, and what really happened to this murder victim. I've heard that this book has a really great twist, and that's a lot of fun, so I'm excited to check it out this month. R, followed by S, can't put it down, and an L. All right. Wait, that's 6. I can't count, I'm sorry. You know, doing this is a lot of pressure in the moment, okay? E. All right, now, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wow, great. Okay, so let's see. For this, I think what I'm going to spell is play. Pretty self-explanatory. I'm gonna read a play this month. Next, for the prompt play, I'm going to read one of the Shakespeare plays that I haven't read yet, and I decided to go with Twelfth Night. I own this and A Midsummer Night's Dream. Haven't read either of those yet, and I think I would rather read this one this month. So far, in my experience, I generally prefer Shakespeare's dramas to his comedies, but I have heard a lot of good things about this one. I know a lot of people really like it, so I'm excited to check it out. Also, it's really short, so that's great. Always helps on the TBR. I don't know exactly what this is about. Once again, I know it involves twins named Viola and Sebastian who are shipwrecked, and they both believe that the other has died mistakenly. So somehow Viola ends up disguising herself as a man, and then another woman falls in love with her thinking that she's a man, and there's a whole bunch of shenanigans and misunderstandings, as there usually are in Shakespeare plays. So I'm excited to read this month and see if I like it. I feel like it's been a while since I read a Shakespeare play, and I really would like to read most of his plays, if not all of them, so excited to continue. Now I'm gonna pick 3 letters, which will be O. F. And lastly, S. So for this one, I am going to spell self. And for this, I'm going to read one of the books from my These Books Will Self-Destruct in 12 Months video. So next up, I need to read one of the books that was featured in my These Books Will Self-Destruct in 12 Months video. I made that video back in July. I'll link it in the card. And so far, I have not read any of the books that I mentioned in that video, so this will be good for me. The one that I decided I'm going to read this month is The Lady of the Rivers by Philippa Gregory. Philippa Gregory. What can I say about Philippa Gregory? I know a lot of people really like her books. They've gotten people into medieval English history. However, her books, not at all historically accurate, and for that reason, a lot of people also hate her. I don't know exactly what my opinion about Philippa Gregory is because I really enjoyed The White Queen and the White Princess, which were miniseries created based off her books, and honestly, watching The White Queen got me into the War of the Roses, and now I'm obsessed with Richard III because I watched The White Queen and started researching that era after watching it. However, the only Philippa Gregory book that I've read before was The Constant Princess, and I hated this book. I thought it was absolutely awful. Gave it 1 star. However, I will say, the Spanish Princess miniseries, which was based off of this, I watched 1 episode and I hated that too, and I never finished it. So maybe I just didn't like this one in particular, and if I read another Philippa Gregory book, I might like it better. Maybe it was just something about the way this was told. I don't know, but I already own this, so let's give it a try. This book follows the life of Jacquetta of Luxembourg, and I really don't know much about Jacquetta, so that's why I wanted to buy this one. I wanted to learn more about her life. Jacquetta of Luxembourg was married to the Duke of Bedford, but then she falls in love with Richard Woodville, a man who is much below her station in the English social hierarchy, and after her husband dies, she ends up marrying him in secret. Together, they were the parents of Elizabeth Woodville, the protagonist of The White Queen, who eventually married King Edward IV and became the Queen Consort of England. And through Elizabeth Woodville, they were the grandparents of Elizabeth of York, the protagonist of The White Princess, who you may know as the mother of the infamous King Henry VIII. So I'm gonna give Philippa Gregory a second shot with this book, interested in learning potentially more about Jacquetta of Luxembourg. I'll see if I like it, maybe I'll like this better, and if I hate this one also, then I'll never read Philippa Gregory again. And hey, I bought this book for $2, so even if it's bad, you know, it's not like I spent a lot of money on it, so we're just gonna see how it goes. I don't know. 3 more letters, the first of which is T. Next up, E. And finally, Y. Not gonna lie, I think this one is kind of fun. Ugh, I'm trying to put this in here without messing everything up. But story, I am gonna go on Bookstagram and I'm going to read a book that is featured in somebody else's Instagram story. I mean, I kind of like that prompt. I think that's fun. Next up, I was going to read the first book that I saw in an Instagram story. The first book I saw that was actually on my TBR, because I wasn't going to read something that I had no interest in just because I saw it on Instagram. I did take a screenshot of me doing that, a screen recording. However, nobody was really posting about books, so it literally took me 2 minutes to actually find something. I'm not gonna make you watch 2 minutes of me just clicking through random people's Instagram stories trying to find a book that's actually on my TBR. So let's just cut to the chase. What I ended up seeing was this story, and the book in here that is on my TBR is The Final Empire, the first in the Mistborn series by Brandon Sanderson. I'm kind of happy that this came up, and also kind of not. I'm not happy because I really don't need to start another fantasy series right now. I personally think I'm not that good at continuing fantasy series. I like fantasy, but I don't read it that often, and so I feel like a lot of times I start a new series and I like it, but then I kind of just don't follow through just because months go by and, you know, attention span, yada, yada, yada. But I am happy this came up because I have been wanting to read this for years, and now I finally have to. Brandon Sanderson is insanely popular. I've heard so many people say he is their absolute favorite fantasy author, and unlike some other fantasy authors we know, cough, George R. R. Martin, cough, sorry George, Brandon Sanderson writes a lot of books at a pretty impressive pace. This is, I would say, probably his most popular series. I hear about it on BookTube all the time, people talking about how much they love this series. It takes place in a fantasy world where the Dark Lord has won, and the magic system in this book involves people who can manipulate metals, I believe. So this month I'm hopefully going to read the first Mistborn book. I'm excited. I've been wanting to read this for at least 3 years. I've heard so many people say that Brandon Sanderson is their absolute favorite fantasy author out there, so I'm excited to see if I love him too. Now I need 3 more, the first of which is going to be K. I and V. This is the final round. I'm gonna use my star tile for this one, but I'm gonna take the K and the V. I'll put them back in the bag though, in the interest of fairness, okay? And then I will pick 2 more and spell our last prompt for the month. I stuck my hand in the bag and then I realized I hadn't restarted the camera. Sorry. All right, and H. Lastly, U. Alrighty. Okay, I'm excited. History. Take story, make it history. For this, I'm going to read a historical nonfiction. Could be a historical fiction too, I guess. I think though, since the word is history, it's probably better that I just pick a work of nonfiction, a firmly history work. I'm excited about these prompts, guys. These will be the letters that we carry over. So, for the last prompt, history, I'm going to read a historical nonfiction book. And I thought to myself, since I'm already reading The Lady of the Rivers, I thought I should read a nonfiction book about a different era. A majority of the nonfiction books on my TBR are about medieval England, just because that's something that I particularly find interesting. But I thought to myself, let's read about a different era for a little variety. Thing is, all of our contenders are insanely long. Contender number 1, The Romanovs by Simon Sebag Montefiore. I added this to my TBR recently because the author was featured in the Netflix docudrama The Last Tsars. This chronicles the entire Romanov dynasty in Russia. Sounds interesting to me, and I know basically nothing about Russian history other than Nicholas and Alexandra, a little bit about Catherine the Great, and a little bit about Ivan the Terrible. So, interesting, detailed book on something I know very little about. In total, it is 784 pages. So that's choice number 1. Next up, after watching Victoria on Masterpiece PBS, I thought, why not read a nonfiction book about Queen Victoria and the Victorian era? So one that my library has is Victoria the Queen, an intimate biography of the woman who ruled an empire by Julia Baird. It actually says in the Goodreads description, literally the first line, the true story for fans of the PBS Masterpiece series Victoria. So evidently exactly what I was looking for, and this would be interesting to read. However, again, insanely long. This biography is 696 pages, so another chunker. And the final contender is SPQR, A History of Ancient Rome by Mary Beard. I've heard good things about this, and I know next to nothing about ancient Rome, so it would be very educational for me. And this one is also 606 pages. So, no matter what I pick, I'm gonna be reading a book that's over 600 pages, in addition to some of the long books that I already have. But we gotta pick one, and maybe I can do it. So I think I'm gonna pick Victoria the Queen by Julia Baird. I don't know if I'll be able to read this entire thing this month. I already have some other decent-sized books on the TBR, but maybe I can do it. Send me some positive vibes. So these are the books that I'm going to attempt to read in the month of December. First, we have Twelfth Night by William Shakespeare. Thank God this one is short. The Lady of the Rivers by Philippa Gregory. Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson, as well as His and Hers by Alice Feeney and Victoria the Queen. Say a prayer for me, send me some positive vibes. These are a lot of pages. So I hope you enjoyed this episode of Scrabble Picks My TBR. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more from me. I post new videos every single Wednesday. My social media links are down below if you want to follow me on Tumblr, Instagram, or be my friend on Goodreads. Thank you all so much for your continued support. It means so much to me, and I love making these videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have an enjoyable rest of your day. Bye, and I'll see you next time.